right, everybody, welcome back to Versus Live. My name is Corey Ballmeister.
And I'm Ross Merriam.
And we got Rob in the booth. Say what's up, Rob.
What's up, Rob?
Rob will be taking all your questions, comments, concerns, and thy burns in thy chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games. He will get his favorite questions sent over to us. We'll do our best to answer them. We're continuing our journey here back into the lovely world of Modern. And, well, if match one is any indication of how the rest of the show is going to be, it's going to be a good day, because that was a nice one. Of course, I get punished on my loose keep. It wouldn't be Versus Live if that wasn't how we ended one of our matches. So, you know, justice was served. But
Love it. Just couldn't have drawn it up better.
Couldn't have drawn it any better. So Ross took down match number one here with Azorius Stoneblade. Next up, I'm going to be... Sharkblade, excuse me. Shark. Even though you maybe dealt 4 damage with sharks, yeah. It was all the Stoneblade, but I'm going to be playing a fan favorite that has been a very powerful deck for a long time, and that's Grixis Death Shadow with Grammatic Angler back. We're not seeing as much Bant control as before with Astrolabe. It's still there, still a very good deck, and I'm pretty sure, one of us is playing it.
You're Sultan the last.
Oh yeah, we took off the ban because I think we play it just about every time because I do think it's still one of the best decks. But
it's a pretty even between Azorius Blade and Bant Blade.
Yeah.
I think the Bant decks still play Shark type movement in smaller numbers, but they also have Ice Fang Quaddle.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then you just get Uro. I just think Uro in Modern is just bananas. It's just the best place for Uro with fetch lands. So that's my style. So I usually like for the ban side, but. Plain and simple, there's not as many Teferi Time Ravelers anymore to bounce anglers. So you're seeing anglers come back and going away from maybe the Jund version a little bit more.
I was kind of surprised because a couple weeks ago it was more Jund and 4-color Shadow, and I picked those decks up and had some success with them and enjoyed them. And in the last week or two, I've seen a lot more Grixis Shadow, and I was kind of surprised at that. I thought Grixis Shadow was more a thing of the past because it's a little clunkier than the green lists because they play all these 1-mana cantrips instead of 0-mana cantrips. And Modern is at a point where it's powerful enough where you get punished for wasting turns 1 and 2 just setting up your draws. And so I thought that was a structural issue with Grixis Shadow relative to the other Shadow builds, but they've shown up in the last 2 weeks and looked really good. And I think one of the now that I'm thinking about it, when I was playing 4-color, Stubborn Denial was quite good, but the mana base was rough. And Grixis Shadow is, Grixis Shadow gets to play Stubborn Denial, but with a significantly better mana base.
Yeah, well, I think our last time we played 4-color Shadow on Versus, it was that historic worst game of Versus Live I think we've ever played in the history of this program.
It was not good.
Oh, it was terrible.
It was amazing.
We both just had the worst draws humanly possible. I was discarding to hand size when I have 4 lands in play as Death Shadow just because I didn't have any of the right lands. And it was
I had like 14 mana in play with a Titan deck, just couldn't find a Titan.
Yeah, it was definitely not the best of Versus Live, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly which one's better between Grixis and 4-color. They're both really strong. They're both trying to do essentially the same thing. I would think removal is better against the 4-color Shadow one because there's more creatures, and maybe that's a reason to shift. But
one of the reasons that Grammatic Angler has historically been good is it dodges Fatal Push, unlike a Karmic Wave. There's a good number of Fatal Pushes around, so that's a market in Grammatic Angler's favor.
Dodges Gust too, which there's a lot of gusts around.
There's some more points back in Angler's favor, whereas the axes had tilted more towards Goyf in recent months. So
all you're saying is we're attacking it from a different angle.
Yes. We're fishing from a different rod.
You didn't get my pun?
I made an angler pun. Angler's a fisherman.
Oh, okay. We both went on the same route. Yeah. Nice. Okay, all right. I just didn't get yours.
Yeah.
All right, enough of the bad puns. We are behind enough here, so we are going to get to the games. I lost that round, so I'm going to be going first.
I'm going to be playing Gruul.
Oh, yeah.
A deck that's been around for a while now, and it's just good. And there's been a recent innovation in it that I wanted to feature, and that is cutting a Glorybringer and playing Elder Gargaroth. You used to see 4 Glorybringer. Now you just see 4 Gargaroth or a 2-2 split. And I'm doing a 4 Gargaroth list. We're going to see how it goes. It's hard to kill.
Yeah. And it's probably the most fun card to say, Elder Gargaroth. All right, I'm going to keep, this is a prime Grixis Shadow hand here.
I will also keep.
Okay.
I'm scared about what Corey just said.
I gotta remember my sequencing because you, especially with Bobble, you have some very standard things you do here. So I'm gonna start with a Bobble on myself. An extra delta on top. I don't want another land, so I am going to crack this away.
I assume we're going to 17.
Oh yeah, can I go lower?
What about 10?
Yeah, can I just head right to 10? Right to 10, do not pass go.
We need the, what was the card that was in the Tinker deck? Phyrexian Processor. We need the Phyrexian Processor Death Shadow deck.
There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go to a total of 15. I'm going to cycle this Street Wraith.
You'll be surprised to know, Ross, I did not have that one ready to go.
Didn't have Phyrexian Processor?
Amateur hour over here.
Come on.
And then we're going to start with a good old Inquisition.
Yeah, didn't want to get discarded with this hand, but couldn't mulligan it.
Yeah, well, if you didn't want to get discarded, you came to the wrong match.
Yeah, if I was on the play, this hand would basically be unbeatable, but because I had Turn on Sprawl, turn 2 Blood Moon, 3 discard spell.
Whoa.
No, I think it's a pretty easy Sprawl from Corey's side.
Yeah, definitely does, but Blood Moon is still just a problem. I'll
aggressively
have to
fetch basics on the next 2 turns.
Yep, I sure will now that I know, but yeah, we're going to take the Sprawl. I'm going to say go, I'm going to draw a Bobble.
Yeah, I'm going to do the classic discard spell trick and rip the Sprawl.
Exactly, Moto Bug.
Okay, what if Foothills go?
The old Moto Bug, eh? All right, so I'm at 15. Death Shadow is possible with a fetch land.
So I do have a Stomp.
You do have a Stomp.
Gotta be wary of that.
You do have a Stomp.
Don't want to get stomped out.
Stomp the yard. So how about this? We're gonna go with a Bobble. And I can Bobble myself or you. Let's Bobble you. Okay. I'm gonna sack this. Take 3.
12.
Now I want to get red. I think just black red
don't
here.
Worry, you're gonna have red.
Yeah, good point, actually. But yeah, we're just gonna get a Blood Crypt. I know what you're drawing, so whatever. If you drew something else that'll help you, I don't really think so. So I'm gonna go to 12, and then I'm gonna Angler. And actually pay 2, so I'm going to leave a card in my graveyard just in case I want a Kolaghan's Command or something. So I guess we'll leave this and pass to you.
You also have Snapcaster.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to Snap Inquisition.
Yeah, I suppose that's better. How many Kozilek's returns or K commands do I have? Just sideboard? Okay, so it's better to leave the Inquisition to have that chance.
I'm going to fetch on instep. Even though I do want to draw lands, I think the marginal difference in my draw step is worth Corey.
Well, you were about to draw a land.
Don't worry.
Haven't you ever heard you're supposed to never check? Everyone says that.
Yeah, they do. But I don't listen.
Wow.
When have you known me to listen?
What an old man.
I'm at 19. You're at 12.
Yep.
I'm drawing my card for turn.
I got a 5/5 staring you in the face.
I drew a Birds of Paradise, which is probably not long for this world.
Okay.
You can go.
It's long for Paradise. Ooh, that was a good draw. That was a good draw. So now to the point I think I can just dead Blood Moons because I just don't care about it. So Dismember.
You go to 8.
8. Death Shadow, because now Stomp doesn't kill it. Attack for 5.
I'm at 14.
Your go.
And this is how Death Shadow often beats Blood Moon, is just get out ahead of it.
Yeah. Blood Moon me, I dare you. I dare you, Ross.
Yeah, and I did draw the 3rd land.
Okay.
I will fetch to 13.
Okay.
But, as Corey said, it doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, because Death Shadow's a 5/5 right now, so your Bone Crusher doesn't exactly do a lot.
Yeah, you've done a very good job of...
I'm sorry? 8.
Yeah, we have 8 to 13. So all I can really do is play Bone Crusher Giant.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
Cycle 6.
Yep.
Bang.
So this is for 12.
You did.
Yeah, how's the battle rage?
I'll save you the time. Bang. Bang. All right. Well, last match was the opposite of that. But you know what? That's what Death Shadow tries to do.
Yeah, that's an ideal Shadow draw, really.
Death Shadow can play these long games too. And, I had a Stubborn Denial as a backup there, too, so my hand was perfect,
Turn 1 discard spell, turn 2 threat, turn 3 threat plus disruption, turn 4 disruption plus kill you.
Yeah. Welcome to the Shadow of Death. So, Death Shadow can play that long game as well, but it can have these games where it just locks you out, and that's what makes the deck super powerful, is those kind of draws. So, And Angler looked great there. Tarmogoyf would have probably been pretty good too, or whatever threat would have been in its place. But a good old zombie fish here, 1 mana 5/5 is pretty sweet.
Yeah, and the big thing to note there is play draw mattered a ton. If I was in the play, that game's a lopsided in my favor.
Yeah, I think I lose badly.
Yeah, I go turn 1 Sprawl, pass the turn, you Inquisition, and see I have 2 Blood Moons and a land, and
then I have a fetch land, and I have 2 mountains, and the game's over.
And a Battle Rage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, sometimes this is kind of the last remaining deck that is that, high variance modern shell.
This one's also pretty play draw dependent, so I think because it's a mana creature deck, just likes to get out ahead.
But it's play draw in this matchup. If you play against Bant Control, I don't care that much that you're going first. I have Purges for your Blood Moon, I have more answer, I have counter spells and stuff, and forces and whatnot. So, yeah. Anyways, we're just talking semantics here. Anyways, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with sideboarding between Grixis, Death Shadow, and Gruul. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Gruul Motor Range and Grixis Death Shadow. On my side, once again, not much changing. This sideboard is essentially motivated by the fact that I want Pillage out of my deck.
Yeah.
Sometimes Grixis Shadow can be a land-light deck, and you can turn 2 Pillage them, and it looks great. But outside of that scenario, the card is absolutely horrible.
Seems like it. Yep.
And I already have ways to disrupt their mana in Blood Moon, which is better than Pillage. I'm bringing in a Choke as the 3rd card, so I have ways to do what Pillage does, but even better. So definitely unnecessary. I'm bringing in a Thrun, which can kind of block Corey's creatures, but it's always smaller than them because he's never going to play a multiple Death Shadow.
Yeah.
I think the Relic is probably the best card I have, but it's always awkward trying to play Relic against Angler because what you really want is to get a full card out of it by getting a Snapcaster trigger, but sometimes you just have to pop it to prevent an Angler from coming down early.
And then sometimes I just don't even have it. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. But it'll Relic is a high floor card because it cycles, so we just don't have a lot for this matchup, but Pillage is definitely bad, and I think these are the 3 best cards in the sideboard.
I like it. So kind of the same for me. Not a ton changing here. Stubborn Denial is pretty bad. It's just hitting your Blood Moon, your Choke, maybe a Lightning Bolt here or there. Not a lot of targets.
A couple Chandras. But there's 10 non-creatures in there.
Yeah, that's not super helpful. And Gust essentially hits all these cards as well. Not essentially, it just does, So it's just an upgrade there, except this can be something that I can search for an island and be able to get out of a Blood Moon or a Choke Lock. And or a chokehold, if you will, and then 1 terminate to be able to deal with, honestly, just elves, maybe
creatures. Elder Gargaroth, it hits.
Elder Gargaroth, really nice. Yep, exactly. So small upgrades here. Don't have a ton for this matchup. That's just modern, though. You have to have these kind of high variance slots. You look and it's just 2-ofs everywhere because there's so many matchups you have to have concerning or that you have to have in mind, and you can only have so many for each matchup.
Yeah. And you see in Standard, all these sideboards have all this interaction, and you bring in appropriate interaction for the matchups.
Yep.
And there's so many fewer decks that you have to be wary of that you usually have 4 or 5 different interactive cards to bring in.
Yep.
And maybe some really targeted cards for the matchup. In Modern, that goes down to maybe 2 or 3, and that's what you see here.
Exactly. All right. Well, Rob, you got a question for us while we shuffle up for our second game?
Yeah, we had a question. Do you think that there's a list of decks to beat in Modern right now, or is it currently just trying to find the best thing to do and making it consistent from Tuesday MTG?
You can look at the top 8 of challenges recently, and that's kind of where I scope as the decks to beat, or the decks that are rising to the top. But, you can't really trust leagues because you can kind of 5-0 with, a very wide variety. We're going to be looking at leagues for our Thursday tier 1.5 to tier 3 decks. But the challenge top 8s are where you start to kind of see some of the same decks, but still, when I say some of the same decks, it's usually 6 different decks in the top 8, which makes it awesome. But, you always see a Bant deck. You always see a Prowess deck. You always usually see a Gruul deck. Grixis Death Shadow's been up there a lot. You see some of the trends, and then, week to week, you'll see maybe two of one deck, and that's like, oh, this deck is blowing up, but.
Yeah, within Modern, I think what you have to think of is what are the real pillars of the metagame, and then what are the variations within those pillars? And when you're looking week to week, you got to think about the variations, but the pillars are always going to be there.
Yep.
And right now, the pillars are Uro Mystic Sanctuary decks.
Yep.
And Prowess decks.
Blue red or black red.
Or mono red.
Yep.
And Tron decks. There's a lot of Tron decks around, both mono green and Eldrazi Tron.
And Death Shadow decks. I think those are four pretty, Jund or Death Shadow, yeah.
And a good amount of Gruul too, but I think those three are really above. If you want to put Shadow in that, you can.
Sure. That's the tier 1.5 list.
Yeah. and think about what people are doing. As I said, a couple of weeks ago, it was more Jund and 4-color Shadow. Now it's more Grixis. Adapt to that with your deck choice or deck build.
Yeah.
I think a couple of weeks ago, you saw a lot of Is It Prowess? You're seeing a little bit less of that now, and it's more towards Rakdos.
Yeah.
Adjust.
Mostly because I think that deck is heinous. The Is It Prowess deck, I think, is so bad.
I think it's just much more inconsistent.
Yeah.
In what it does.
Agreed.
And the value of the Prowess deck is its consistency.
It's inconsistent, but it still gets targeted by the same things that you would target the other Rakdos or the other Prowess decks. So it falls into the same pitfalls, but it's just not as good of a deck. So that one I never really understood. I tried it thinking it was going to be great, but that was one deck I was really disappointed with.
Then in the Tron thing pillar, it was more Eldrazi Tron a few weeks ago. You see more mono green now.
Okay.
They're boarding Tarmogoyf for aggro matchups like Prowess, and that's helping them a lot.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. So you got to prepare for more big Tron a little bit. So that's kind of how you do metagaming in Modern. And then you're always going to play against, even in a challenge, you'll probably play against a 3 or 4 kind of tier 2 decks or off-the-wall decks.
Yeah.
But you prepare for that by just playing a powerful, proactive deck and knowing your deck well.
Yep.
Because then you can adjust on the fly. Even if you don't have a lot of experience in that given matchup, if you know your deck well enough, you should be able to come up with a pretty reasonable plan that gets you 80% of the way there.
That is a huge lesson when it comes to Modern, and something that I don't advocate when it comes to Standard, to be honest, is I think even us are a very good representation of Standard. You like to play the same kind of Rakdos style decks, those kind of decks, and in Modern, that's fine. You play that deck, you get good at it, that's cool. But if you play the same deck in Standard, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. You just top forward the event, congrats to you for this last weekend, where Rakdos was pretty good. But, maybe you played it in the past where it wasn't so good.
That is true.
Exactly. But Modern, I think if you are a Rakdos player, you are a Tron player, you are a devoted Devastation player, play your deck that you're comfortable with, and then just, like you said, think about the pillars and think about which targeted hate cards you want for that, and metagame. Not as in choosing a whole new deck in Modern, but metagame as in your sideboard, because you have such powerful sideboard cards in Modern. So
metagame in your tuning instead of your choice.
There you go. Yeah. So once again, Modern is magical Christmas land. Play whatever you like, and just make sure you're prepared for what you want to play against.
Well, I like to play first, so that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, smart.
And I'm going to keep my hand.
I'm going to keep mine too. Not great, but...
Okay, I'm going to get a basic forest off this Verdant and play an Arbor Elf.
Arbor Elf, okay.
Pass the turn. I'm at 19.
Okay, I'm going to start by bobbling myself. I do not want that card.
Family show, Corey.
I will sack this. I think maybe I want to just get a swamp just to play around Blood Moon so I can just act if things don't go my way. It's unfortunate. But yeah, we're going to try that. So at least we have 2 colors if we get Blood Moons. And then I am going to play another Bobble. And bobble you.
An equal opportunity bobbler.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And then I will say go, draw your upkeep, and go ahead.
Okay. I will crack this fetch.
Okay.
Get a basic mountain.
Okay.
And play a Blood Moon.
All right. At least I kind of played around it, but still going to be brutal.
Yeah, and you not having blue, so I don't have to worry as much about Gust is good.
Yep.
You are going to be, most of your spells are black, So that's the benefit of starting with the swamp.
Yep.
But the biggest thing is it's going to be hard for Corey to get into shadow range.
Yep.
So now I can sort of take my time. I'm not going to deal him a ton of damage.
17? Yeah, as you say that, I just cycle 4 street race.
Yeah. Got him.
All right, that was actually a pretty good draw, all things considered. I'll fatal push that. I'll play this mountain, and I'll pass to you.
Okay, so you're at 17, I'm at 18?
Yep.
Drew a land, that's perfect.
Okay.
And it's a mountain, so we don't pay 2 life, and I'll play a Clothis.
Okay.
It should be excellent.
Should be.
Might be getting anglered here, though.
Yeah, if I had a graveyard, it'd be really good. Yeah, I just want to eat everything here. What do we got? 5, 6, 7. Play our angler and pass to you.
Okay, I will remove the elf and drain you. So 15 to 20.
Okay.
Play a forest and play Bloodbird Elf.
Okay.
Topiary Sprawl, not the best, especially because that leaves me 1 devotion short.
1 devotion short, 5, 6. Yep. But you have the elf in your hand. Or no, I killed it. That's right. Okay, so I don't know anything about your stiff.
What do I name with this sprawl? Probably just green, since the non-basic I draw will all be mountains. So
Makes sense.
Green and pass the turn.
Okay. All right, our draws have been absolutely heinous. So I don't think I win this game by holding back, but maybe I have to. I know about Chandra in your hand, which is a problem.
Yeah, that's a card you know from Bobble.
Yep. So I'm going to play this mountain. And you're just at 20, huh? So, I mean, attacking you does not get very far. But blocking is not good either, because then you get to Chandra my angler. So, yeah, we're getting in.
15 all.
Your go. Feeling bad. Feels bad, man.
That was a draw. So I will have to exile something. So I will make a green mana.
Okay.
I will play a Chandra, which you can't stub.
Sure.
I will plus for 2 red.
Okay.
I will play a Bloodbraid Elf and Cascade.
Okay. That's all fair.
I will hit an Arbor Elf.
Okay.
And I will attack you for 7.
7, down to 8.
Pass the turn.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I know what I'm siding out now. I forgot I have so many of these cards in my deck.
Is it lands? Are you siding out lands?
And no, I'll attack Chandra.
I'll block here and probably lose it to a Battle Rage, but
no,
that's fine.
And we'll play a Death Shadow. Your go.
Okay. So
I'm dead on board.
Yeah.
Snapcaster was the card I was talking about. I forgot how many I have of those. So
I want to board out Snapcast?
I think so. I don't want all of them. I'm going to bring in 1K command. Just too many of these whenever you get Clothist or something like that, you know? I think 2 is enough, but maybe it's just results oriented from just drawing 3, but yeah. I just don't think that card is that high impact in these matchups. It's fine if I go push, threat, snap, push or whatever, but push is not always great.
I think I could see bringing out 1 and having 2 stubs in and so being 3-2 instead of 4-1.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go 1-1-1 for the pure, I have no idea.
We are professionals.
Professionals! All right, so we're going to be going to game 3 here. Those are just 2 absolute beatings.
Turn 2 Blood Moon, who knew?
Yeah, Blood Moon's good. And I mean, honestly, we just saw game 1. We said you would have dominated on the play, and there was just proof, you know. It was essentially the same hand. I didn't have a hand disruption spell, but I had double bobble. And, and some fetch land, so I was hoping to find Dismember or Push and kill your thing in your upkeep to prevent you from Blood Mooning, but just found... I looked at a Teamer Battle Rage that I didn't want, put it at the bottom, and then bobbled again, and then drew 3 lands in total with the 2 bobbles on my draw step when I already had 3 lands. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm dead. Yep. I drew 3 mountains, I should say.
I know your pain.
Yeah,
I've done that quite a bit.
Okay, so game 3, I'm going to be on the play. I need to win this to keep the marble chances alive, or they're already going to your side.
I've got a nice one.
As do I. I will keep.
Same.
So let's start with a bobble on me. So now I can actually do a sweet little trick. Oh, no, I can't. I have to decide if I want that now. And I think I probably do. Yeah, I'll cycle.
18.
I'm going to go to 15. I just want both colors this time, so I'm not going to play around Blood Moon as much because I'm going to be taking a peek at your hand.
It's my hand. You don't get to see it. Fine.
It's mine. It's mine. Okay. Yeah, then let's Inquisition you.
Didn't expect that. Okay. I'll show you a good one.
That's a pretty good one. So now do I take the early stuff? I think Klothys is the scariest card because it also ramps. Gargaroth is also pretty good, but can't touch that one.
This is a very contextual hand. Like what Corey takes will give me some insight as to what he's holding.
Yep.
So like I could see if he has a push, like taking Sprawl and planning to push the Elf and really slow me down.
Mm-hmm.
If he has a Thoughtseize, I could see taking Klothys and then planning to Thoughtseize the Gargaroth.
Yeah.
Why does my sideboard not have any Veils? Where are my Veils?
Yeah, you're a green deck. You should play those.
Yeah.
I am going to take Utopia Sprawl.
So a Fatal Push or Dismember.
And then I'm going to say go and draw a bubble. Bubble, bubble.
I will get a basic forest and play an Arbor Elf.
Good call, good call.
I'm a 19.
Draw for my turn.
Not nearly as masochistic as Corey is.
All right, I'm going to Inquisition.
I drew a Blood Moon.
Ooh. Well, now, do I want to let you have a Blood Moon when I'm going to kind of do stuff with my mana anyways, or let you have a Klothys, which ramps you into Gargaroth? Yikes. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Klothys. That's a little too scary. That was not what I wanted you to draw.
And fetch for a basic.
Can I take that? I might have to take Blood Moon. I forgot what I have to search for.
Thinking my top deck might have blown up Corey's plans.
It sure did. It sure did. I regret not taking Klothys last turn.
Best laid plans of mice and men.
Yeah, let's take Blood Moon. I just don't think I can beat it right now. And then let's go for sack this for a basic swamp and play Angler.
Not a bad turn.
Not bad. Here you go.
14.
Would have been better if you didn't have a good turn next turn.
I think I want to get another basic with this Foothills. I'm going to shock.
Okay.
And play this Klothys.
Okay.
So I'm at 17, and I will pass the turn.
And I'm at 15, right?
You're at 14.
14, yep. Okay.
Yeah, two fetches, and a shock, and a street.
Yeah, it sucks. Angler is just outclassed by Gargaroth as well. But what can you do? Suppose I can start with a Thought Scar on myself, give you some food. 12. Attack.
12 all.
And pass to you. I actually have to somewhat worry about my sack lands because Klothys can kind of get me pretty quickly.
Well, I will exile the Verdant.
Yep. Ugh. Elder Gargaroth.
And land this.
Yep.
I'm fetching to 11, getting a forest, so I'm not dead to terminate plus battle rage, which is nice.
Yep.
Pass a turn.
All right, I'm going to sack this. I'm not sure what I want to get yet.
So we're both at 11 while you're deciding if you want to shock or not.
Yep.
Can't get the basic island, though. At this point, Blood Moon is not a huge concern.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to get Steam Vents.
That's not a good sign. Come on, Thought Scour.
I'm going to go to 9.
Yep.
And I got to terminate. That was a nice draw for me last turn. That was not a nice draw for me there. All right, I'm going to start with Thought Scour on myself. Attack for 5.
I go to 6.
And I will Thought Seize you.
It's pretty good.
Oof. Go to 7. I could go to 5. Well, I got to take Blood Braid.
This is one short of lethal with the Arbor Elf attack.
So I go to 7.
Yep.
And I'll play Water Grave and pass to you.
You have 1 card in hand?
Yep.
What do you got in there?
I got it all.
I'll terminate.
Okay.
Brings me to 8 and you to 5.
Yep. Cloth is so good against Death Shadow.
Do you have a stub in there?
I do not.
Okay, pass the turn. Upkeep, bolt you.
Okay.
You go to 2.
2.
Got a Battle Rage?
I don't have anything so far. It's going to be a big one. Oh, this is a game winner. Thought Seize myself. I'm dead. Yeah, Clothis gets me. Dang. Yeah, I was close. But I really think I screwed up by taking the Sprawl. Obviously you top decking Blood Moon put a huge wrench in the plan, but I think I just should have taken Clothis and let you ramp, but I didn't have an answer to Gargaroth at the time, so I was trying to hope to, top deck a push or a dismember to be able to really slow you down, but...
You did find the answer to the Gargaroth, which was important.
Yeah, that was huge,
and I was going to turn 3 it anyway once you have to take the Blood Moon.
Yeah.
But if you get to take Clothis Blood Moon, then I just don't have that little extra bit of life gain.
Yeah.
That said, and it's kind of weird how it would have played out, because I drew the Bloodbraid Elf early in that chain.
Yeah.
And if you take Clothis and I go for the risky Arbor Elf that could get pushed,
yep.
Then I can Bloodbraid on turn 2 with the Sprawl. And I'm not sure I would have done that. I might have gone. Though I honestly, without the Clothis, I probably do do that.
Yeah.
Because
you probably lead on Elf regardless. Then
not if I definitely have a 3-drop I want to play. If I have the Clothis, I'll play Sprawl so you can't push it.
True.
But without the Clothis, I think you do lead on Arbor Elf, so the game just plays out very differently because I have that Bloodbraid early, and that changes my draws.
Yeah. Well, honestly, we saw the detriment to this deck that you run into every once in a while. When you can draw 2 threats, life is fine. But when you just draw 1 threat and a couple of answers and stuff, obviously Clothis is just a unanswerable threat in a way. So that one is just tricky.
Gust.
Yeah, you have Gust and stuff. It's not unanswerable, but it's a tough one. It's a tricky one to deal with, where the drain effect is actually quite good. But I really was just dying for a second threat, and that is where 4-color Shadow shines more than this, because you just have way more threats. You have traverses to find Death Shadow, and here I just had a 5/5. 5/5s are not what they used to be.
Yeah, you really you need to, you can sort of count Teamer Battle Rage as a threat as more of just a burn spell, but helps you close the game faster, which is what you needed there.
Exactly.
Or earlier, a Shadow to go along with that early.
Yeah, I just kept Thought Scouring into lands that I just didn't need. I had 6 lands. That's too many for Death Shadow, and close games though.
Yeah, it's possible you wanted to, preserve your life total a little bit more on that turn you shocked with the Steam Vents.
Yeah. I could have put it into play tapped and just terminated on my turn, but I just wanted to make sure I had, because I had terminated and Thought Scour, so my whole turn would have been eaten up by terminated Thought Scour, and I figure if I just draw a threat that turn or Battle Rage, I was going to win. if I could cast them.
Yeah.
But I drew Hand Disruption land, you know.
And as it turns out, if you have that extra 2 life, you know, you get an extra turn, but it's a turn where you need to draw Battle Rage because that would be a 10, and you need to meet a brick. So it's not a very likely turn for you to win.
Yeah.
So I think the risky line for you worked out better.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, a lot of contextual decisions. I mean, that's just Modern once again, you know. But
I keep coming away like, you know, I'm never blown away by the Gruul deck, but I'm always surprised by it.
Yeah,
you would
it's got a lot of play.
Yeah, you would think just, you know, it's very straightforward in what it does.
Yeah.
The threats are so powerful, and you generate so much advantage with things like Bloodbird Elf and Pyromancer and Clothis that you actually do present problems for a lot of decks. Where you would think a straightforward Gruul beatdown deck would be really easy to answer in Modern.
It never is. Yeah, I usually play Bank Control, and I feel favored, but so barely. You know, and I have Purges, I have Gusts, I have Uro. You know, Uro shuts that deck down full stop, though. Like, Uro is so good against everything for that deck, except Clothising it. You know, that's what I've always leaned on, and that's what I always play in Modern, you know, most of the time. But it reminds me a lot of the deck I've been playing a lot on just for fun is Historic Mono Green Ramp, and I've been dominating with that, and it's kind of the same you know, thought process. It's just a basic green ramp deck, but you're ramping into Karn, Vivian, Nissa, these really hard to deal with planeswalkers. You're doing essentially the same. You're ramping into these hard to deal with sticky threats that once they compile, they add up to something big, you know?
And still put pressure on your opponent.
Exactly.
I think the mono green decks can sometimes like not put pressure on people, though they are pretty good at it. But this deck is really good at it. And you know, unsurprising, it's a Modern deck versus a Historic deck.
Yeah, who would have guessed? But all right, that is going to do it for round number 2 here. Unfortunately, I'll have to give those marbles to Ross. I hate it. But that doesn't mean the magic's over. We've still got one awesome match left of Modern here. I am going to be playing, a little Sultai action. What do you got?
I'm going to be playing Rakdos Prowess.
Rakdos Prowess.
My preferred list of the deck right now, and this is how I would build it.
Okay.
So you're getting my, you know, what would be my list. It's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit less threat dense.
Okay.
Luris means that you don't have to be as threat dense. So I look at lists that are playing a bunch of extra creatures and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I'm playing a good old Sultai deck that reminds me of, honestly, when I got into professional Magic back in Extended, it was like Countertop Goyf was like the decks, and it was just Tarmogoyf as a good, it was just Tarmogoyf as a good green creature, and then stuff to protect it. Tarmogoyf is back in just as a creature, so I was shocked on this list. So should be a really fun match. You're not going to want to go anywhere. We will be right back after a short 5-minute break.